You deserve a man who's going to make you a priority, not a convenience. But the reality is that many women are finding themselves in situations where they're not receiving the effort they desire and are looking for from this man they're trying to date. And it becomes very frustrating. And sometimes it becomes a situation where he's claiming he's serious. He's telling you, I'm all about you, but you feel like you're not a priority. You feel like he's not as invested and interested in you. And it creates confusion, frustration. It makes you question, am I wasting my time here? So let me clear up some of that confusion by giving you some signs that you are just an option to him. Now, before I give you the signs, let me say this. I want you to listen to this video with the mindset of understanding that being an option does not mean you are not a great woman. All right? I think too many times women are internalizing when things don't work out with a guy that they like, that they want, and thinking, well, why am I not good enough? Why does he want me? Why am I not his priority and an option? Or why is he even entertaining other women? And not realizing that sometimes it just boils down to you two not being the right fit. So you could be a great, amazing woman, and yet he is not designed to not only see your value, but pour into who you are. And so, if anything, take the fact that this is not, take the signs as a wake-up call to free yourself from an unfulfilling situation that isn't going to go anywhere, and save yourself time from holding on, hoping for more, and now set yourself on the path to receiving so much better. But let's give you some of these signs. So sign number one, you are just an option to him, is that you always have to be the one to initiate. So here's the thing. I want to make clear, I do not believe in the whole make a man chase you. All right? I'm a firm believer that no one should be chasing after anyone. It's about two people coming together, making a mutual effort to build an amazing relationship. All right? So that will require you making effort as well. But as I stated, no one should be chasing. Essentially, it should never be a one-sided relationship. And so when you have to always be the one to initiate, that's a problem. And the reason why it can get a little confusing is because there are scenarios where when you reach out to him, he is receptive. Like, okay, as long as you call him, he does talk to you, he'll make time to talk and all these things. And there's a level of that's a good thing, right? And again, I feel the need to say, well, before I mention that, let's stick with this for a second. It's a good thing that he's willing to make time when you reach out to him. It's a good thing that he's receptive to you in those ways. But if he is unable or unwilling to ever stop and say, well, let me reach out to her. Let me initiate us spending some time together. Let me try to make some things happen. Then even if we can make the argument that he does genuinely like you, he's clearly not ready or able to be what you need to have a successful relationship. Unless you can honestly say to me, you're going to be completely okay and happy for the rest of your life, always being the initiator. If that's the case, so be it. But I think if we polled most women, that's not going to be the case. You want to see him make effort in that way as well. And so, yes, it might just be that and I know people say no one's that busy. I was going to say he might just be super busy. I will say this. Do I think everyone makes time for what they want to make time for? I always say to y'all, some men have more time to give than others. Plain and simple. Some men have a lot more going on than others. But even if that's the case, even if he's just a very busy guy with limited time to give, Unless he is able to step up in the way that you're going to be happy with, then again, it just says this isn't time for us to move forward. And yes, it can just be saying to you, you are an option to him. And sometimes an option doesn't mean you're an option as in one of many women I'm contemplating dealing with or getting with. It could simply just mean that, listen, I have other things right now that I deem more important than trying to build a relationship with you. Or, to be honest, very good chance that he doesn't see this as something serious. He may enjoy talking to you. He may enjoy the time that's spent, but he's not into you enough to want to make it a priority to pour into you and initiate as well. But before I wrap up this point, let me make this clear. If you are a woman and you are in this situation, well, you are a woman, chances are. But if you are in this situation or find yourself in it, do not simply jump to the conclusion of, oh, I've been the one to initiate. He's not serious. I'm ending this. I'm walking away. Always sit down and talk about it. Give him the opportunity to correct the issue or to explain the issue. But if he is unable to consistently correct it after that, and I use the word consistently because, yeah, he might start calling you, initiating for a week, but if he can't keep it up after that, it just shows you this guy is just not what it needs to be. Let's move on. All right, so now the second sign, that's my train of thought. I completely forgot what I'm talking about. The second sign that you're just an option to him, all right, is that he doesn't try to spend a lot of time with you. And even more specifically, non-sexual time, all right? So piggybacking off of the fact that you're initiating a lot. And let's just say maybe he does call you too or whatever. But there's not an attempt to really spend time together. I always say, when a man is not, when he's either trying to have a very casual relationship or whatever reasons he has for not wanting to get too serious, he'll minimize a lot of interaction. That's not 100% the case. There are some men who will dive all the way in, even though they have no intentions of being completely serious here. But typically, the man will try to keep some distance in some way, shape, or form, because what a lot of men have to consider is the fact that if I do too much, if we spend too much time, then she will catch deeper feelings for me, and I know I can't match that. So let me try to slow this down in a way that we can manage this and still remain casual and enjoy each other without getting too serious, all right? So with that said, even when you want to spend time, like he may be down to go on a date, but he's gonna shorten the amount of time you guys spend together, plain and simple. Or in other scenarios, the only time he wants to give you is when sex is involved, when intimacy is going to be involved. And when it's off the table, it's an excuse. It's I'm busy, it's I'm this. He doesn't really take you out. He only wants to come over. Only wants you to come over. Again, there's a good chance, and I also want to add this. Remember that you don't just take a sign by itself and run with that, because a man who has determined that you are an option, or in situations where you have become an option to him, there's more than likely going to be multiple signs, not just one thing, all right? To me, if all the other areas he's doing well in, but there's this one thing that he struggles in, then there's a chance that this is just a correctable issue that if we discuss it, will go away. But typically, there's going to be multiple. So you have to consider that. But anyways, the point is that yes, he will minimize how much time he spends with you because he does not see the importance of trying to spend quality time when he is not viewing this as a priority or feeling that he wants to be serious here. All right, so let's keep it going. And now we're at the third reason or third sign that you are an option to him. I don't know why I'm struggling today. My mind keeps blanking out on me. Anyways, third sign that you're just an option to him is that he never wants to discuss the future with you. All right. So essentially, he is trying to live in the now. Let's not talk about months from now. Let's not talk about what I'm looking to do. It's just a matter of why are we getting into deeper discussions? Because to talk about the future is to get deeper with each other. Let's be real, all right? And so essentially, when you are just an option here, he's not trying to go that deep. And clearly you can see that option is synonymous with he's just not that serious, all right? It's like he wants to temper your expectations and slow things down. And he understands that avoiding future discussions helps him do that, as well as it allows him to not put his foot in his mouth. He doesn't want to get caught making plans with you too far in the future when he's not even sure how much longer he's going to be around. All right. As well as forget, even if he thinks, yo, let's say right now we're in the month of April. Let's just say he's like, man, I would love to have this woman in my life for the rest of the year, but I want to be able to come in and out as I please. All right. I want to have the option of dealing with her, not the obligation of dealing with her. And so with that, I have to manage this situation in a way that doesn't get me caught up, doesn't commit me to anything that I cannot back up and I cannot uphold, so to speak. So essentially, yeah, he will avoid all discussions of the future because that's just an easier way to keep things at bay. All right, so now the fourth sign, you're just an option to him, is that all he gives you is excuses and no corrections, all right? What I mean by that is this. The man who is determined that you are a priority is a man who more than likely sees a future with you. And because he sees his future with you, when you bring issues to his attention, he's going to want to find ways to make things right. You know how they say men look for ways to fix things, all right? It is a natural occurrence in us, but specifically when we're talking about relationships, that only occurs when we're actually serious about the woman. And we've prioritized this relationship in our life. So when you're getting the opposite of that, excuse after excuse after excuses, because again, you know, what's coming to mind is if in this scenario, in this example, if I'm dealing with multiple women and let's say I'm dating 5 women and you're one of the 5 clearly, and you bring this issue my way. To me, it's like if you're not number one and none of them are number one, to have to pour all this energy and investment and trying to fix this and correct this, like for what? It's so much easier to either move on to the next or to leave you alone for right now while I go deal with the one who's not giving me any stress. And then once you come around, I hate to say it, but it just happens. What happens to a lot of women is that once the man pulls away some, it's almost like she forgets that he was the violation. she forgets what he was doing that was making her unhappy. And now she switches into, I need his attention back. I don't want to lose this possible opportunity. I want the validation back. So now she switches into the role of trying to make things work. So to him, it's like, oh, okay, so you're back, but now you're acting right. And acting right in this scenario is you're not giving me any trouble anymore. You've allowed the issue to go away and you're accepting my shortcomings because you want to be able to have my attention again. And so, yes, he'll go back to giving you that attention, enjoying it until something else, you'll come out of your daze, realize this joke is still doing this foolishness, all right? Do it again. And for some people, it's rinse and repeat. It's this ongoing cycle of you see he's not giving you what you need. You say, I'm done. Or he says, I'm not dealing with this rather than trying to fix it. He separates. You start getting nervous and antsy because that attention, or maybe you start getting lonely. You start missing him, whatever the case may be. You go back and it's just over and over and over again. So at the end of the day, you got to recognize that when he's unwilling to make corrections, it's just not that important to him. All right, it's not a priority to him. But here's what another one of those hitting my spirit moments. Listen, there are some men, I said this in a different video, where there's a lot of good guys that care and don't want to be the bad guy. And because of this, even though they're not serious, even though you're not necessarily a priority to them, when you bring an issue to them, they'll still want to try to smooth it over, depending on what it is. Some things, I think if it's asking a lot of them, they'll probably won't even bother with it. But if it's minor, something they can just adjust, they will. And that's why it's very important. As I said, don't just take one sign and run with it to say, oh, I'm just an option to him, I'm not a priority. Don't just run with one sign to assume you are a priority. Don't just say, oh, well, he corrected this issue, right? Well, nah, this is a little confusing. Cause I was gonna say, cause I do think if he's constantly correcting all the issues, then how can we not give him the benefit of the doubt that he is serious? So I'll say this. Here's a perfect example that does make perfect sense. He's correcting the issues, but when you bring up commitment, he's still dodging it. So that's a scenario that shows you, okay, I like you, or I'm a good enough guy that I care about your feelings, and I want to make things right with you. I want to smooth things out with you. But I'm still unwilling to take it to the level that you want. That still says to you, okay, we don't need to be moving forward here. Let's leave it alone. Don't hold on to but he fixes these other issues as, well, maybe he'll come around to wanting something serious. That typically does not work well for women. I'm sure some of you have seen situations that the woman ends up getting the man. Like there's a saying where some people believe men don't marry the woman they have the most feelings for, they're in love with. They marry the woman who's around when they're ready to settle down. All right? And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that theory. I think people are misunderstanding why that happens. So, one, even if he marries the woman that's around when he's ready to settle down, that doesn't mean he's ready or willing to be the man that woman needs. It doesn't mean that he will ever pour into her in the way that she's looking for. So in the vast majority of cases, if not all of those cases, that situation ends up in disaster anyway. That woman may get him and initially feel great that she finally got the man, but soon she will wake up from that and realize, what the hell did I get myself into, and be miserable and then want a divorce. All right? Also understand that the idea that he's not marrying the woman that he's in love with or has the most feelings for is not because in most situations he does not want to marry that woman. It's because in many situations, either when he was dealing with that woman, he may not have been fully ready or mature enough for that relationship, or that woman has run from him because of her own fears, lack of healing, or whatever the case may be. Or, one more example, both of them had a lack of maturity and understanding, made some mistakes, things went left. And so now, because he's not in a position to get her back in the moment, or maybe thinks it's not going to work out, he figures, okay, I'm ready to settle down. My number one option is not available to me. Let me find somebody. And that's still a recipe for disaster. It's still not going to work out well. So don't let that be your thinking that if I just stick around long enough, right, it'll work out. No, it won't be worth it. It won't be worth it. It'll be a huge mistake. You are better off moving on. All right, so before I get to the next one, real quick, so many people want their questions personally answered. So many women want more help in meeting better quality men, healing, tapping into feminine energy, you name it. And guess what? I have it all laid out for you in my special coaching program. Just go to receivingmyblessings.com or click the link in the description or in the comment section. It's helping thousands of women. You're going to love it. Trust me, join as soon as possible. It's completely worth it, all right? But let's move on to the next one. And the next sign that you are just an option to him is that he keeps you in the friend zone. Now, I felt led to add this to the list and talk about this because I think that we talk a lot about men being in the friend zone, but we overlook the fact that this has happened or is happening to a lot of women, and they don't understand why. I remember having a client who said, you know, all these men keep telling me I'm great, but they all put me in the friend zone. And it can be very confusing, frustrating, hurtful to be that woman and to not understand what's going on, why is this here? So let me explain why. And one of these reasons why, a lot of y'all ain't gonna like it. So take a deep breath, okay? Take a deep breath, clear your mind, be receptive. Remember, everything I say to you is with love, all right? I always have to stress that because I don't want no one taking anything the wrong way. But I'm gonna start with the one that might hurt the most. A big reason why men put women in the friend zone is lack of physical attraction. Plain and simple. And it may not mean, let me say this, it doesn't mean that can't change. Because physical attraction is something that can evolve depending on what efforts are made by the person to become more attractive, okay? But there are tons of scenarios where men have met women who they genuinely feel are awesome, great, and in a different world, different scenario, they would automatically get with her. But because of that lack of physical attraction, they keep her in the friend zone. I even had one client who said to me she had a guy friend, I think she said even male best friend. And again, this is gonna sound bad, but this is just honest and real. He said to her, I believe this was verbatim, I think he said one day he looked, they were chilling, they were having fun talking, and he stopped, he sighed, he looked at her, he said, man, if you were just 20 pounds lighter, you would be the one. Now listen, I know that sounds rude as hell, or it is rude as hell. I know that is not a way a man should convey this message to a woman, all right? Don't focus on that part of it, that aspect of it. I'm simply highlighting that what that man was saying to her, though he lacked tact in the way that he expressed it, was the only thing that's missing here is me being more attracted to you. And more specifically in her scenario, her body, her weight, her body type being the deterrent in that situation. All right? So for a lot of women who find themselves in that scenario, that's what's happening. And so this is where you become an option in the sense that some men are hoping that maybe it can change. Either by them coming to a point of acceptance of how she looks and them working with it, or them hoping that the attraction will change because she puts in some kind of effort and then it evolves, all right? So that's one of the big reasons. The other reason that I think doesn't get talked about enough, that some men will friend zone a woman, is because, and I'm just going to try to be as real with it as possible, he sees her as potentially the one, but he's not done being a hoe. All right? So I've seen scenarios where the man feels like, okay, this is the woman I would want to be with. And I've seen this more specifically at much younger ages. All right? Maybe the guy's still in college, just graduated high school, whatever the case may be. And some dudes, let me just say on the flip side, some dudes will try to make the woman his girl only to still do his thing on the side. Because it's like, all right, I'm gonna lock her in to guarantee she's here, but I'm not done being a hoe. I'm not done running these streets, right? Whereas this guy says, no, I really value her. I don't want to lose her and lose this connection or whatever we have here. But I don't want to get in a relationship with her because I know I'm gonna be doing some stuff I'm not supposed to be doing. So instead, let me stash her in the friend zone. And once I get all this other stuff out of my system, now I'm trying to make it happen with her. Now, I'm not saying this is wise and a smart approach in any kind of way. I'm just telling you, this is a scenario that does happen. All right. And so this leads to, again, to where, and this is another perfect example of how you can be an option, still be an amazing woman, and even be a woman that he would want to be with or does want to be with. He just feels like right now is not the time, but I have to find some kind of way of holding on and remaining in her life while I still get this other stuff out of my system. So the friend zone is definitely a tool that some men use when you're an option right now and not the priority. All right, so we got a couple more and a bonus, so keep watching. But the next sign that he only views you as an option is that he doesn't try to learn more about you. So to make this one very quick, the bottom line is, as I've said a million times before, when a man has not prioritized you, when a man is not willing or ready to be serious, any of those things, he wants to avoid, in most cases, getting deeper. And learning more about you can only create more depth in the relationship, or it has the potential of doing that. It also has the potential of him learning some things that he doesn't like and not want to deal with you. But again, he's trying to remain on the surface. He's trying to remain just, all right, I know what I like. I enjoy it superficially. Let's leave it there. Let's not go any deeper. As well as, I don't want to give the woman the impression that I like her like that. And again, I want to stress, because I think when you hear that, when you hear me say that, you take it as like an insult. Some of you do. But it just means that, yes, I may like her. I may value certain aspects about her, but I don't like her like that in the sense of enough to want more with her. And again, that is not an indicator of your true value. It is an indicator of you two not being a good fit, or him not being built to see and embrace your value. And so you will notice that he never asks any questions about you. He never tries to get to know more about you, because he's just trying to avoid it, plain and simple. All right, so we got the seventh sign, and remember, we got a bonus after this. But the seventh sign is something that I've already alluded to or mentioned multiple times, and that is he is unwilling to commit. Plain and simple, all right? Because here's the thing, and it's important to understand this, and this is something that I break down in my book, He's Lying, Sis, all right? There's a chapter I have in there about he acts like your boyfriend, but he doesn't want a girlfriend. And the question I get from women, or the argument I hear from a lot of women is, if you know you don't want more with her, why are you doing these boyfriend things? Why are you engaging in this confusing behavior of acting like a boyfriend if you don't want a relationship? So essentially, why do you want relationship benefits if you don't want a relationship? And what I want women to understand is that being in a relationship is not about the benefits, at least in today's age, all right? The key thing that determines if a man is willing to be in a relationship or not is, am I willing to be obligated to this woman? Am I willing to knock off all my other options? Am I willing to be fully committed and make her a priority? And I say that because in today's world, there are so many men who do get relationship benefits without a relationship, all right? And who enjoy relationship benefits. So, and we're labeling it relationship benefits because that's what it's that's the dynamic it's supposed to occur in. But to be more specific, cuddling, right? You may say, well, if he ain't trying to be in a relationship, why are you over here cuddling with me, right? Because he may like cuddling. He may like cuddling. But the fact that he likes cuddling you doesn't mean he wants to be committed to you. Doesn't mean he wants to be obligated to you. Doesn't mean he wants that responsibility in his life. You know, even doing nice things for you. Why is he doing these nice things if he's not serious? He may enjoy making you smile. He may enjoy being generous to you. It may not be a big deal to him, but that doesn't equate to him wanting commitment, obligation, responsibility. Those are the three things that says I'm not willing to go into official relationship. All right. So do not let the quote unquote boyfriend behavior, and we can argue once upon a time, what we're calling boyfriend behavior was really husband behavior. Really, all this stuff was supposed to only happen in the husband-wife dynamic. We've blurred the lines to where it's created a lot more confusion, and I have to use the word destruction and damage, right? Because we've circumvented the marriage system and basically pulled those benefits out and allowed them to be explained and enjoyed within this boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic. And now, hell, even casual relationships are engaging in these things. And that's your choice as a grown adult, what you want to do. I just want you to understand that all of that and him enjoying those things doesn't mean he wants to be with you. So it is important that you understand that if he cannot say to you and confirm commitment through his words, because I know we always say actions speak louder than words, but I'm a believer that the actions and the words have to line up together and be consistent. That's what matters, especially when it comes to a man committing to you. Because if he can give you the actions, but cannot say to you, we are in a relationship. You are my woman, I am your man. We are official. Then that means he's not trying to be committed. I don't care how sweet he is. I don't care what he does. He's not trying to be committed. It is your choice if you want to accept that or not, but I want you to understand what's going on. All right. And so his unwillingness to commit, yes, is a sign that you're an option, because at the end of the day, he is not willing to close the doors on the other potential possibilities out there. Plain and simple. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, could he eventually choose the option as his main woman? He may, but it won't be worth it to the woman. It won't be worth it to him either. So just be mindful of that. But I got the bonus. And now the bonus sign that you are an option to him is that you click this video trying to figure out if you're an option. All right? And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you felt secure, of course, some of you are just watching this video because, it's an interesting topic and you want to learn more about it. Some of you clicked and are watching because you're trying to figure out in your specific situation if you are just an option. And for most of you who clicked for that reason, it's because you were already not feeling secure in the relationship. All right. Now, I don't want you to automatically jump to, well, then that means I'm just an option to him. Again, we address the red flags. We have discussions. We see if it can be corrected. And then if it's not, then we accept it for what it is. But I mention that as the bonus because I do want you to be honest with yourself about what you've seen already. I want you to be honest with yourself about what your intuition is telling you. I want you to take that honesty. If you have been feeling like you're just an option, I want you to take that honesty, and when you have that discussion with him and he's either vague or he essentially confirms it, again, as I said in the very beginning, you don't take that as rejection, you take it as confirmation. You take it as, you know what, I've already been feeling like this. He confirmed it, so now I have the clarity I need to set myself free from this ongoing nonsense of a situation, to set myself free from being consumed by a person and a relationship, quote unquote, that does not truly serve me, is not best for me, and is not where I belong. So I accept that clarity with gratitude and with the understanding that now I can move on to bigger and better things. And I pray that's exactly what will happen for you if you are now in a situation that you are not a priority, because you deserve better. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. It's one thing to fight for a man who loves you, but you shouldn't fight for a man to love you. Now remember that quote, because I'm going to break it down and help you understand the difference between those two things. But the reality is that many women